You may be a kingpin drug dealer who wants the competition out of the way. You may be an elite politician who wants total control and a power play. You may be an aspiring entertainer who wants to have their name in lights. You may be a four-star general who wants the upper hand in a global fight. They're all making a deal. With the chief light bearer from the other side, they're making a deal. It's an alternative thing for one hell of a ride.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you. Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark.
And it is After Dark, and you're listening to me, and what can I say? Tonight is going to be one heck of a ride in the paranormal tonight, with Jim Penniston coming on here at the top of the hour, talking about what happened when he was in the Air Force and in the UK at that RAF airfield. Anyway, James, you know what? You ready for this? A guy bounces 15 chairs off of his chin and breaks the world record.
Wow. I got to tell you, that takes some kind of talent to bounce 15 chairs off his chin. That's amazing. I don't even know where to go with that. I'd be lucky to get one. I'd probably fall backwards and break my teeth out.
Well, with my double chin, maybe I could get 14. I'm not sure. But you know what? I tell you what, the wacky news, the crazy news, or the silly news, and whichever three you want to pick, hasn't been very good the past week, I can tell you that. A class ring lost on a Florida beach. Florida. 50 years ago was found by the original owner. Do you believe that one?
We've heard similar stories about that, where the lady went in a secondhand shop and bought the purse, remember, and her ring was in there from like 20 years ago, and I guess it could happen. I just know this much. If something like that happens, you really should step back and evaluate your life and count your blessings and maybe play the lottery. Yeah, or something. That's the luck of that is billions to one. A trucker spilled 6,000 gallons of condensed milk next to a highway, according to the California Highway Patrol. It went over a guardrail and ended up spilling its load of 6,000 gallons of condensed milk. Wow. Can you imagine if that run into a big water source, like a little pond or something? Oh, my goodness. It's condensed. It's going to multiply like crazy. Well, one thing, be careful. Like macaroni and cheese packages you can buy. According to the wacky news, a guy opened up his macaroni and cheese, I'm not going to say the brand, and was eating it and asked his wife, "Did you put pepper in my macaroni?" And she goes, "No." And then it hit him. It was full of weevils. Oh my goodness. Wacky. What can I say? It's crazy news. Well, I hope he didn't say nothing, because they'd probably charge him extra for that, wouldn't they? I don't know, but can you imagine that? I don't know. A wedding ring lost while skiing in 1992 turns up 2,000 miles away. An Oregon woman who lost her wedding ring during a 1992 ski trip. Well, she has it back on her finger after it turned up
2,000 miles away in Alabama.
That is just, that is crazy. Like, could you imagine the odds of that? It's got to be astronomical. You probably can't even compute them odds. It's so high. Wow.
Well, I don't know. But the rest of these wacky stories are just what they are, wacky. I can tell you what. Boy, where's the exciting wacky news like we were getting now? It's around Christmas time. It should be a lot coming.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're probably all going to come out all at once and just overload you with the craziness. Like, snakes attacking a man in a restaurant or bizarre things like that. I still have little nightmares about that one, to be honest with you. I'm just saying. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Man doing yoga with his head between his legs gets locked into it and had to be taken to the hospital to get released. That's what it says.
That reminds me of that Saturday Night Live clip where Will Ferrell, they're doing that yoga thing, and you can tell he got two people, and he finally got to the point where he can, like, bend around to his backside. And the guy says, "Now what are you going to do?" He goes, "I don't need to leave home no more." And then he got stuck, and he had to get him up and pry him apart. It was crazy, but yeah, yoga's no joke. You could get stuck in a pretzel. That's for sure.
Well, according to Mental Floss, whatever company that is, or magazine or whatever, that says, why are so many babies born and conceived in the winter? Duh. Come on. It gets cold in the winter. A lot of people can't afford their heat, so they make heat under the covers. Now, what do you think how babies, more of them are conceived in the winter? In the summertime, it's too hot to make whoopee every night. So, you know what? Hey, it's a good way to stay warm and burn off some calories in the winter.
You gotta, that just shows right there that even with that, the common sense is still lacking in many Americans to even ask that question. That's also like they say why during blackouts, in that period, why, same principle. Why is there more, births 9 months later? Same kind of principle. I mean, you're asking a redundant question. I mean, think about it. It's wintertime, especially with these big storms and it's cold out. You're not going to be out throwing frisbee and stuff or mowing the yard or fishing. You're going to be,
especially if you have a power outage and it's cold.
Right.
You're going to go in bed and you're going to curl up, and then you know what happens. But I mean, this has been going on for tens of thousands of years. I'm sure. Why do they have to, do a report, which naturally somebody paid for this report, to figure out why so many babies are conceived in winter? I think that you've already covered this so many times through the years, but I guess if they can get some organization to, front the money for they can do research on it, why not?
Yeah, it's like, how do you justify the money to train rats to drive cars? It's the same kind of principle. What's the the end result? What's the bottom dollar on that? What are we shooting for here? We're gonna have rat Ubers to drive us around, or what?
I don't know. But another thing here in popular science: why don't fake flavors taste like the real fruit? Come on, you're sitting there and adding all the stuff. Who knows what it is? Okay, you might have a little bit of, stuff like, I'm not going to say the brand soda that you drink, but I mean, the same stuff they use for when they got a dead body and they preserve it. Some of the same ingredients is in that same drink you drink. But you think about it, it's all fake. So, I mean, they're taking all this stuff and then they're trying to make it taste as good as it can to mimic the real flavor. I mean, how much did they pay for that test? Do a report on that. I can tell you why. Common sense tells you nothing is going to taste like the real fruit. I mean, fake watermelon tastes like fake watermelon. Fake grape, who knows what grape? When I was a kid, you could go to the store, right? And you could buy a grape soda that tasted like grape soda. Now you buy a bottle of grape soda and you take a swig of it, right? It don't taste like grape soda. It tastes like grape soda, what they make today, but it certainly doesn't taste like grape soda was when I was a kid. So I don't know.
Again, it resorts back to the money because it's cheaper, way more profitable to use chemicals to fake it, to make it. And here's the thing with chemicals and processing. When you do that, that is not healthy. That is a prelude to cancers and illnesses and all kind of bad things. And if you look on the labels and there's words in there that that you've never seen before, and you've got too many consonants together and vowels in weird places, these are chemicals that if you can't say them, you shouldn't be drinking them. Or that's just kind of a rule you should go by. But it's in everything, so you can't dodge it unless you're drinking pure juice somewhere. But that's what's happened. It's far more cheaper to fake it, unfortunately. I mean, think about the cost of real, grapefruits and grapes. It's very costly.
Well, you know what? For years when I was a kid, I always asked my mom and dad, when I would drink a certain soda. I'm not going to say the soda because that same ingredient is used in a lot of different sodas. And I kept saying to my mom and dad, well, what's caramel? I don't know, son. Ask your mom. She's the one that does the cooking. Hey, Mom, what is caramel? Ask your dad. You think I know everything? Well, when I got older, we didn't have the internet then. We had, things like you had to go to the library and look it up. And then I realized, well, caramel, I first thought it was like a candy, like caramel, caramel. But it wasn't. It's a bug from Africa that they dry out and then they grind it up and it gives it that color.
Oh, boy.
You knew that, right? So when you're drinking your favorite soda, it starts with a C, or some other flavors, that that to get that color, you're drinking bugs from Africa.
I know it, and they're not charging me extra for that little bit of protein. God bless them.
Well, when you look on it doesn't have any protein, so whatever they get done, doing whatever they do with the bugs. Come on, hey, give me a dish of bugs. Why not? It'd be cheaper. A woman in Antarctica or a group of tourists actually swim along with pigeons. Or penguins, I'm sorry. They go on. Yes, I know. And I haven't had nothing to drink for 2 days. Anyway, in Antarctica, tourists swim among penguins.
I was going to say, boy, that Guinness should have been out there. We got pigeons in Antarctica.
Yeah, well, they got lost because of the magnetic field is shifting. So, they started out in New York and they ended up in Antarctica. You didn't know that?
Yeah, well, yeah, now I do. And then the global warming is so nice that the pigeons are building rookeries and stuff there and just taking over.
Yeah, by the way, I couldn't find your stairs again in Antarctica.
Oh, I forgot to look. I'm going to have to get... I'm going to have to get back on that. Unfortunately, I think it even said in that article, get it while you can, because you know how they do. You see it today, and then tomorrow it's gone. It's brushed or scrubbed or photoshopped, or they show you a scene from a month before or after. You don't see it.
Oh no! But you know what? This woman caught her husband cheating, thanks to a restaurant review in the Washington Post. That's right. The guy went to a restaurant with his and not his wife. And I guess they asked him what he thought of the food. Well, his reply and all his name and his friend was put in the Washington Post. And his wife reads the Washington Post.
Wow, that's one way to, if you're trying to be on the down low, you might want to stay away from the newspapers and internet and stuff like that. That kind of reminds me a long time ago, I had this girlfriend, won't say who, and she kept saying, I'm going to bingo. I was like, why, where's this bingo that's, gets over at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning? And I'm like, so I just, for curiosity, I took a ride in this little town. And it had one street in it, and it had one bar. And this bar had a picture window, Gary. It must have been 20 feet long and like 10 feet high. And you can see the whole bar. Well, I went by her, looked over, and she's sitting right